Hello everyone, I'm Bastian Alexander and we're standing here in San Juan del Sur in Central America. It's a beautiful day and it's a place where my wife Debbie and I moved to in 2011. We packed our bags in Holland, said goodbye to everybody and made the move to Nicaragua, to San Juan del Sur. It's been a crazy adventure. It's been so interesting, so exciting, and we learned a ton of things about the way to find happiness, to put things in perspective, and we made this amazing growth personally. It's also that being in Nicaragua, being in a third world country, it made you realize that a lot of things that we had back home in Holland, you take for granted. For example, running water, electricity, reliable internet. It's not an automatic that it's always there. And it's also, if people, I got the question a lot, like, what is one thing that you miss from Holland? And obviously, I miss my friends and family a lot. And there's also like a lot of Dutch food that I miss. But I think my answer would be that you get up in the morning, you have a certain expectation of the day, and then it goes that way. Actually the day goes what you expected. Here, there's always something. Always something comes in the way, and the day is never what you expected it to be, which makes it exciting. It's never boring, but it can be frustrating as well. So it made me realize, like, I made this growth of like keeping the eyes on the prize, looking what is really important. Because if you're not careful or if you're not conscious about it, like I've been surfing in a day, I'm riding my moto everywhere, but then I come home and there's no electricity and I get frustrated. I'm having the best day, and a thing like having no electricity could make or break my day. And I knew I had to change that and focus on like the good things happening, because it made me so much more happy and balanced. But I also asked myself, like, what are my rules? What are my rules for happiness, for a balanced life? What do I need to truly be happy and balanced? I'm Bastian Alexander, and I would like to know, what are your rules to be successful, to be happy, to be in a good relationship? Let's talk about and find out today. So what are the rules and where do they come from? Just like your values and beliefs, there's a difference between global rules and personal rules. And the global rules is, again, really heavily influenced by where you grew up, by the country, by what family, your coaches, your teachers. They all determine like the global rules that you hold. How are you supposed to dress? How are you supposed to talk? When are you rude? When are you polite? Those are all general rules, global rules, that makes a society work. But there's also personal rules. And that's almost like the measurement for your values and your goals on when do you achieve them. And then it's the question, are they empowering or limiting? Because sometimes people are really successful, what people think in general, but if you ask that person, his standard of success is so high that he still sees himself as a failure. So it's this personal measurement of when are you happy? When are you successful? What is a good relationship to you? And again, this is important to know, because if they're limiting, if they're disempowering, you will not be successful no matter how successful you are. Rules is also really tied to pleasure and pain. Your personal rules, are they set up for pain or for pleasure? I think it's really important to raise your standard, to give your life not a 6 but go for a 9. But if you look at your rules, if you set the bar too high, you set yourself up for pain, which means you give your life would be a 3 or a 2. Because if your bar for success is so high that it's not achievable, you will never have that satisfaction or that self-empowerment of being successful. The same with your body image. How should you look like to have a good body image? So that is about the rules. That's really important to know, that your surroundings know your rules, and also that you know your own rules, and are they set up for pain or for pleasure. So as I mentioned before, there's a difference between limiting and empowering rules. A limiting rule means that the control is outside of yourself. So it's kind of like the relationship with an expectation that you expect from another. When are you loved? Or when are you treated in the right way? If you set that bar too high for others and you don't have control over the behavior of somebody else, then you're setting yourself up for pain. Because again, you're not in control of how the other is behaving. But you are in control of your own reaction and of the bar. How high or low do you set it to feel loved or successful or to be treated well? Now figure out for yourself the values, the three core values that you described. Are these realistic? Are these empowering? Are these in your control? And how specific are they? And then think about your rules. What are your rules for happiness, for success, for wealth, for love, for your relationship? Determine those rules and just make sure that 100% of those rules are empowering, are in your control, and can only set you up for pleasure, because that will create the happiness and balance in your life. That was it for today. I'll be back next week, and I hope to see you then. Saludos!